industry.
But technology, we're
being
still
on an
early
SN.
into this age, so you really can't
Well, it
use that as
depends on what you're
comparison.
talking
we're
about with
early
technology.
into technology. Technology has millenniums to go. We got so many things that we can stretch and go with technology
Well,
that we're just at the beginning of it.
Black
It's a
people
new
being on
age, so
black
we're
people-
still learning just like everybody else.
But you're not controlling what that iPad is doing because you didn't make that iPad. So she can be really good at the iPad, but you can't fully trust it because you're not the one who instilled that. So as a culture, there are people who have fear because we are not the ones dictate. We know how to use stuff really well. We know how to popularize things, but a lot of times we're not in control of what's happening on the back end with the data.
What you just said is a market.
Yep.
Let's make that parental control real tight. Coding. OOI. Whatever we can get done to make it so that the parental controls is tighter. Even against them.
Yep.
If you can send a virus, you can stop them from computing. What's happening? This is Gator.
What's happening, everybody? This your boy Mamba.
And it's the Gator and Mamba show.
Welcome, and thank y'all for subscribing and just locking in to these two individuals here. To start the show, as we always do, trying to pick into everybody's business. That's really what it is. What you doing? What you doing lately? So I want to find out from you what you was up to this weekend.
Oh man, this was a Easter weekend, so I got a famous Easter egg hunt. You know what I mean? So what I
World famous,
right? What I do is I put dollars into the Easter eggs, right? And then because it's gotten so big, the big kids tumbling and trying to get the little kids' eggs, right? I had to put some 20s and some 50s and some 100s in the egg, right? But I hid them way in the woods, right? So in the back of my house, there's some woods. And at night, you look in them kids scared to death, right? So I was like, I put them deep in there. I seen a little beaver, little den, put it right next to the beaver den. The golden egg. The golden egg. I put that sucker right now. You want this $100? You gonna go get that $100, right? And so I'll be good. Goddamn, them kids didn't wrestle fight for that them dollars. Them beavers probably scattered and cut tail.
Were the younger kids more braver to go in the nooks and cranny areas as far as the older kids?
No, what you mean younger kids? It was three cohorts, right? It's the little kids, the twos, the threes. You know what I mean? The eggs are just scattered. All they gotta do is pick them up and put them in their basket.
Yeah.
And then it's the 9s, the 10s, the 11s.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
okay.
These ones. You know what I mean? And then they got after a minute and a half, they can go out there and
that's
do,
how you
and
do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they got 45 seconds before the teenagers get out there.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
That's
so the
actually dope.
teenagers, so
it ain't just everybody go.
no,
okay,
you can't take advantage of,
because them teenagers to fuck it up.
and they say the little kids is the monster. They say them kids, they monsters, boy. Them kids be cleaning up. You think they little, but they put them eggs in them baskets, boy.
Right. That's dope.
So
That's dope.
We had fun.
You should do that shit on a bigger scale.
I'm trying to. I would love. You know what I love to do? Be in the park and drop $10,000 or 10,000 eggs, right?
Oh,
just on people, just drop them some bitches. Block 'em.
We need to talk to the mayor of Brooklyn Park so we can make that happen.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
Who gonna stuff the eggs?
Who gonna what?
Put the dollars in the eggs.
It ain't gonna be us.
Because I have to do it. Woo, I can tell you all day, Jack. And then you got to put tape on them so when you throw them on the ground, they don't just bust open.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you, that's a long job.
Well, my weekend was eventful to the degree that I love black businesses. I love meeting, talking to, building with.
They're the best.
Black businesses, and that's all I'm talking about right now. I don't give a good goddamn about anything else outside of black business. That's it. That's all I care about. And if you got a problem with it, it sounds like personal.
Wait, if they ain't got no problem with it, DEI.
right.
You got
a problem with it, we got
right
DEI.
You got a right to just go with black business.
Right. And that's what we always been on anyway. But I went to an event, a networking event that really changes the game to me compared to a lot of these organizations that are nonprofit who get these federal, state dollars or whatever, who say they about really what they say is they about people of color or what's the other word? What's the hidden word they say? I forgot the word they say. But anyway, that's all inclusive. But when they say all inclusive, diverse. They say all inclusive or diverse. Black people are like the umpteenth itty bitty on the bottom line, but they usually mean white women and LGBTQ, which nothing wrong with that. But they always mean somebody else instead of us. So I loved going to this event because it was about fucking black businesses. And that is my structure, my belief, my thought processes, my focus. And the organization B3, or it's
I
called.
like that thought process. You think I could join it and join in with you on that
we
thought
we
process?
already part of it.
This was wondering if I can join in with you.
Yeah, we already in.
Okay,
We already set. The Better Black Business Project. The founder and president is LeBrant Speed. So I'm telling you, this is something that he and
Wait a minute, man. That's my black business that I'm shouting out today.
Oh, it's too late.
Okay, well, I'm shooting it out now. So
But
is that
B3,
okay? All right.
B3, right? He's like the producer's like, nah, nigga, figure out something else. But I'm telling you, you when you in here, I love the fact that when you in it, like you can't just be in it kind of just looky and figuring shit out. It's like what's your business? What you here for? Like you can't just pull from the resources and not be able to put back into the resources. And you know, that's some shit you and I have been talking about for some time. We've been a part of these major organizations or whatever that say they doing stuff. You pour in, but ain't shit pouring back out. Mm-hmm. So this is a significant change. So I appreciated just being a part of that. And then just now we're sponsors of it. So being that we're sponsors in it, it's more than just a membership. It means we want to shape and shift how we deal with black business. So it was dope.
Yeah.
It was dope.
You know, that reminds me of a China conversation, right? And you know the rhetoric that China's putting out right now of you know how much goods really cost, how much things really because what it's saying to me is that like the floodgates is open for us, right? Like right now, it's like the best time in the world to get black designers and black sewers and everybody connected to one as a interconnection right now while things is open and people is welcoming you to hey man, let's join up. You know what I mean? If Louis is getting these products for this much, why can't Lewis over there on Third get these same situations?
Why can't Lewis or Leroy,
Leroy,
whoever the fuck, right?
Yeah.
Leroy buy the same damn material,
and I'll buy from you, Leroy.
He gonna buy the same material, and he gonna put his little twist on it, or maybe he put a twist on it, but he customized it for you. He put your information. So you mean
like Louis Belts, but not with Louis stamps all over it.
But your shit on it.
But Leroy all over it.
Yeah.
Nigga, it's the same quality. It ain't gonna bust like, oh, maybe some of them bitches do be busting. My Gucci belts be busting. You know,
expensive shit do be breaking apart, but that's what you pay for. They trying to put you in line with. On one end, they be like, hey, $20. You be like, that shit's cheap. It look like Louis. It look like Gucci. It look like whatever. But you compare it to the shit you just bought for $4,000. Break is break. It's still the same comparison. So I'm like, stop. We got to stop getting duped into that. Because first of all, from this point on, you got a Louis bag, Gucci bag, whatever the fuck.
Don't tell me you go clown them.
I'm not.
Don't tell me you gonna be like, nigga, that shit's $12.
I'm not.
We seen it, nigga. We seen it. $12 bag, nigga. We know you paid $3,000 for it, but they made it $12.
And this is why my iPhone is still 6 years pass, because I'm like, I'm not falling for the shit no more. This bitch better go the fuck out before I decide. And if when it do go out, I'm buying from China. I am not buying from Apple again. I promise you that.
Well, why would you? Why would you when
would
they
you?
told you how much they're selling to you for? All you
Nigga,
gotta do is catch a plane.
they done
Which one is
changed
cheaper?
the
Just
game.
catching the plane?
So that's that.
know.
I'm sorry. We had to go into that.
I'm
dig.
sorry,
I'm sorry.
but what I'm trying to say to you is us enterprising in a way that keeps us interconnected, right? And dealing with each other, right? In these times, right? We don't need nobody. We never needed nobody, right? They try to make it seem like we need them for something. You don't need nobody. You don't need no master over you. You don't need no ruler over you telling you what to do and what you can't do. How the fuck does that make me? I'm a grown ass man. I know what the fuck to do and not to do.
Yeah. Well, I know we were just talking about iPhones, right? Well, I was just talking about iPhones. And remember when, back in them days, right? We had all these informational whatever. Everybody's saying basically bottom line is Mark of the Beast, right? Mark of the Beast, Nation of Islam, and a bunch of other motherfuckers was just like Mark of the Beast. Mark of the Beast, they gonna end up putting these chips in your hand, right? Or neck, or wherever the fuck they putting these little bitty chips. They gonna put
so
these
you say
chips.
Everybody in religion has heard this story.
Everybody has heard.
No matter what you is, this ain't just no Nation of Islam.
Yep,
This I heard this
not
in
just
Christianity.
nation. It's all across
the Mark
the
of the
board.
Beast.
Mark of the Beast.
Yeah.
And the Mark of the Beast, it was what they described it beyond the fact of when you see Damien and that shit is the 666 in your head or whatever. But it was to be able to track and control you at whenever
With the chip.
With the chip whenever
Yeah,
they wanted to.
yeah.
So your spending, your ins and outs, whatever the fact, they able to track and control that aspect. So we remember how we was back then? We was like, I'd be damned if somebody set me down and open my hand and put a chip, or I'd be damned if somebody put my head down and put a chip in the back of my ear. I'd be damned because I'll fight. You know, everybody was about.
You told God. Remember, you was praying and shit. You was praying and that. It never happened to me, God.
Never happened.
I'm a devoted followee.
It'll never happen, God. It'll never happen because I'm a devotee and I will rather die before it happened. And guess what happened?
What happened?
They just created a little something where you can flip it. Then they created this little something where it's just one little bar. And now they created this something where they track the fuck wherever you go.
Yeah.
Which is
tracking.
in comparative that we're talking about, Mark of the Beast, they're able to track you.
Wait a minute, you
monitor
can't just
your-
be throwing words out talking about some, they track you like I'm supposed to believe that. How is they tracking me though?
Oh, it's hands down. First of all, this bitch is always listening to you.
No.
I got an
nigga,
iPhone.
Yeah, that's
So
something
we talking
different.
about
Listening and tracking.
Tracking, right? Tracking, no matter where you go, there is a setting where you can track your own destinations wherever you've been on iPhone or Android. You can track.
Tell us the settings.
I don't know all
So
that.
then don't tell us no bullshit.
Go on YouTube, and they will show you step by step how your phone tracks you.
I mean, how you tell
Because
us some
I'm not
shit?
the expert. I'm not the expert. I'm
Well,
just
then why
telling
you
you what I
telling
know.
us then?
Because I want them to be able to go on YouTube and find it themselves.
I got a better way, sir.
Oh, you got better?
How about the cell phone towers? You know what I mean? That's pinging you everywhere you go, right? Everywhere you go, as soon as you pass a cell phone tower, it pings you.
My shit that I'm talking about goes deeper, and I seen it on YouTube. Go into it. Go iPhone tracking me. And when you go into iPhone tracking me, they will show you the setting where no matter where you go, it outlines everywhere you go, every pinpoint. It ain't just point from tower to tower. It literally tracks you everywhere that
What you
go.
got to do?
I said YouTube it.
I thought you just told me how to do it.
No, I just said I don't know how to.
You said go to iPhone set. You said go to iPhone settings and go to track me.
So I remember going through a YouTube, and a YouTube said, "Hey, did you know your phone tracks everything that you do?" I'm like, "Nah, it just tracks when I'm say Google go this place to this place because I don't know how to get there." Right? That's what I assumed. But then it went deeper and said, "Now, once you get done with there, it tracks everywhere that you go." I mean, YouTube it, I don't know the dynamics of it all, but it did just that, and it does just that. It tracks everywhere you go.
Well, maybe your explanation is more intellectual than mine. And so, my
Probably.
caveman style was just to watch the first 48 and see how them niggas keep getting popped off, verse off that cell phone tower. That's all I keep saying is, oh, you was here because you was pinging on this cell phone tower. I'll be like, you dummies, you niggas need to leave your phone at home. But either way you look at it, right? That's just where I'm getting my information.
Yeah.
Either way you look at it, I know the motherfucker.
You get this shit from a fictional movie.
I mean, whatever the case may be, I know that this is what's happening, right? But beyond that, I know I can say, "Hey Siri," and there she go. Look, he said, "Light up," right? So that means that microphone is always on, always, right? So no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, it's following. You can turn it off now.
She's like, "Nah, say it. What you got to say?" And that's the funny part. You can say it loud or you can say it really soft. It knows your voice and it's paying attention to your voice no matter what you're doing and how you say it. And the funny thing is, even when it's off, that everybody has this weird thing, or it's not weird anymore because we all know that they listening, right? You can be like, damn, I really could use a nice little new suitcase, right? Nice little suitcase. Or let's say you see a suitcase, because I was doing that before. I was like, man, I hate my suitcases right now. I'm about to travel. I need some better suitcases. So I go into this motherfucker, and it's just like, hey, did you try a luggage, this, and this, that, and the other?
Like it's reading your mind.
Yes.
Like it's reading your mind.
It ain't reading your mind.
Or is it mind control over Debo? Which one is it? You know what I mean? Which one is it?
Well, we can say it's the mark of the beast.
Because it's telling you, controlling what you think, right?
Or vice versa.
You don't think it is, huh?
Or vice versa.
You slow down a bit. You kind of thought like, it ain't controlling me. You don't think it's controlling you?
Algorithms do control people. Yes, absolutely.
That's why you scroll for so long, right?
Absolutely.
Because your attention is just to scroll for a little bit, right? And the next thing you know, you for hours scrolling, right? Because everything you stop on, it says, got you.
Oh, you like that?
Here
indeed.
up. And then when you get interested and seeing something else, be like, hey, I'm gonna just throw this one at you too, right? That's what it do, because it's not only tracking your every move, your even your if you're still or if you're exercising, right? Because if you're wearing that watch. It records your heartbeat and whatnot, right? So either way you look at it, the sucker controls every movement of your day. And all you got to do, if you don't believe me, is ask yourself one question. How far can you go without that phone? Most
How long
couldn't.
can you have that motherfucker?
They can't go nowhere because they got to GPS it, right? Yep. They can't even get from one place to the other because they like, oh, I'm stuck.
Yep,
I'm stuck.
I remember back in the days we used to you drive around, you figure it out, but you pay attention to landscape, right? It's like there's a store here, there's a store here. I remember there's a store when you make a left turn, and that shit gets stuck in your memory. Yeah. Now, don't nobody go by their memory at all. Please tell me where to go. That's what they do now.
You don't remember when you used to have to write it down? Take it right at Jefferson, go down 2 blocks, take a left on the stop sign, go up 3 blocks.
Nigga, don't be rushing us.
Is this what's happening right now? All righty then. So it looks like we got a guest.
We got to shut the fuck up.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, guest. It's like you niggas getting too into the weeds. All right. So we do have a guest to capitalize on this conversation and give their 3, 4, 5 cents or whatnot. In regards to just technology, especially when it comes to black people and transitioning and accepting technology, if you will.
Okay.
So we got Mike Jackson. Why you say Mike? His whole
Mike
name Michael.
Jackson.
That's Michael Jackson. It's Joe Jackson's son. But Mike Jackson, founder of Black Tech Talent, a visionary leader on a mission to close the racial wealth gap through tech. From launching innovative platforms to creating career pathways for underrepresented communities, Mike is reshaping the future of tech, one opportunity at a time. Let's dive into his journey and movement as he's building it. So, Mike, come on, step onto the stage.
Right, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
And
right,
show me
Mike,
what's popping.
Happening, my man.
One love, brother. Thanks for coming through.
Sir. Thanks for having me.
So, I know you was eavesdropping, if you will,
Yes, sir.
about tech. So there is that duality in terms of black folk. We tend to have a taboo when it comes to a lot of new stuff and whatnot. And I don't know your age, but I'm pretty sure you heard those type of references when it came to being. Matter of fact, they still being said now. Oh, I ain't being chipped and stuff like that. What are your thoughts in terms of black folks in general, just transitioning, accepting, understanding tech, just in general?
Yeah, so two things can be true at the same time, right? And so both sides of the argument are true. Like, we are being tracked. They're collecting data on us at every moment. I think they said Facebook has something like over 15,000 data points on a person at any given moment. But technology also is how you can uplift yourself economically, right? And so I think, when we're talking about black culture, we fear things that we don't understand. And the reason why we don't understand things is we're not building them. We're not controlling them. We're not training them. And so we always feel like we're at the mercy of what somebody else who historically hasn't had us in their best interests or in their interests at all at certain points, giving us things that we don't know how it works and what's being done with the behind the scenes. So both are true.
So you're saying we're always, for the most part, not even say always, we'll just talk about this. We're on the ass end of information when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But how do we get better informed then?
I disagree.
Okay. Speak your grievances, and then I'll answer the next joint.
Well, I don't think that we're on the ass end of it. First off, my daughter, who is 4 years old, can navigate the hell out of that iPad. Maybe some functions that I have no idea that she can do. You know what I mean? Because that's what she's growing into. You know what I mean? That technology type of that free and available technology that she can easily navigate now. Where we as adults say, "Oh, you ain't learning your cursive, right?" But they're also learning how to what's this what's it when you move your hands? Typing. Whatever you
move your hands.
I think you just proved this point.
No, because it's something you can go to school for. It's called
Coding.
something.
Coding.
No, coding's a job. It's
It's not typing. It's not coding.
But
okay.
Either way you look at it, it's something that you can go to school for to learn how to first hand, shorthand.
Okay.
Shorthand.
Shorthand's not new.
No, shorthand something. You can go to school for shorthand and learn how to bam. They got that naturally without even having to go to school, right? They're into technology. Us too, specifically, we both came from the ghetto. We know how to navigate that ChatGPT real well. I mean, real well. Almost like he called her his girlfriend. You know what I mean? I mean that's how much entwined that we with this. You know what I mean? Because we're growing into this because we're really intelligent people. You know what I mean? People underestimate who we really is. You know what I mean? We got power, and therefore we're growing into this. We just need to know how to navigate it for our good use.
So when I say
argue, nigga.
When I say thank you, I will. When I say that we're on the ass end of another industry, so when it comes to industries, the industrial industry, we were on the ass end. We were just the workers of. When it comes to the .com industry, right? We started to build websites when it was thick, but there was a premise before it actually happened. Same thing with let's say crypto. Crypto, it's another type of industry or whatever, or investment platform or whatever that we're on now it's happening when they've been making multi-millions of dollars in the industry long before we had knowledge to. So that's the only thing that I mean in terms of getting caught up with the industry.
Well, technology, we're
being
still
on the
early
SN.
into this age, so you really can't
Well, it
use that as
depends on what you're
comparison.
talking
We're
about with
early
technology.
into technology. Technology has millenniums to go. We got so many things that we can stretch and go with technology
Well,
that we're just at the beginning of it.
black
It's a
people
new
being on the
age,
a-
so
black
we're
people-
still learning just like everybody else.
Black people being on the ass end of it, meaning
No,
that
we ain't on no ass end, we just begun.
We have no, let's say we have no AI type of platforms and/or businesses and/or structures that have started, but they have done so. They've been having that for 10 years, and we're just now we are just now being introduced and using
Yeah,
AI.
gotcha. We here,
However,
though.
it's been
Here
having.
we go.
They've
See
been
you.
having.
I see you.
So those are some of the arguments that
Yeah.
I mean. We're like just now catching up to the industry for the most part. So how do we gauge that? How do we move that?
Going back to my initial statement, two things can be true at once. Both of your points are valid. So it brings up something a conversation I had with somebody last week. So on an individual basis, we've been at the forefront of technology in certain aspects, right? The cell phone wouldn't be here without us. A lot of other things that we've invented. The first video game console that could switch video games was a black man.
Atari? Is that Atari?
After Atari, once you were able to like switch everything out.
Say, what was
It
it?
was before Sega. I forget which one it was specifically, but you can look it up because we highlight. If people follow us on Black Tech Talent on all platforms, we highlight Black inventors
Nice.
every week. So even I learned from the platform because I have my team do that. But yeah. So there are certain aspects where we've been at the forefront, but as a culture, it's accurate that we're not as far along as certain other groups, right? And there's multiple reasons behind that. And before I even jump into those reasons, I'll say like the point you made about like your daughter, right? That's very valid. And I feel like the bigger conversation we're having as far as the fear and these things is like she's really good at the iPad, right? She's learning things on the iPad, right? So I would ask you like, when it comes to morals and values, would you say those are things you instill in her?
To learn, absolutely.
Do you feel like those things are things you would trust are good things for her? Whatever morals and values you have and you've placed in her?
You mean to learn?
Yeah.
Yes, I think that learning is a good thing.
So you trust your morals and values because it comes from you, right? And you may have got it from somewhere, but you had life experiences that also adjusted and adapted that. But you're not controlling what that iPad is doing because you didn't make that iPad. So she can be really good at the iPad, but you can't fully trust it because you're not the one who instilled that. So as a culture, there are people who have fear because we are not the ones dictate. We know how to use stuff really well. We know how to popularize things, but a lot of times we're not in control of what's happening on the back end with the data. So you might be able to go, I'm putting on parental controls. She can't watch what I don't want her to watch. That's cool, but you're still not controlling what data the iPad's taking from her and how it's going to guide her whole entire life through whatever platforms come from that point forward.
I got
You get what I'm saying? Okay, go ahead.
Rebuttal. Well, it seems to be then I should be the one to make that situation and try to sell it to my people, right? Because that is the problem right
that's
there,
the point.
right? I know what the problem is. Let me correct the problem because that's how you already said it. That's how we succeeded. That's how we got here in the first place is because you don't get here from having an abundance of something. You get here from having a lack of something. And you create so that you can close that gap. So either way you look at it, right, we're creators.
Yeah.
We've been creating because we have had lack. We can do this without them. We don't need nobody else. So if we see something, industry, that's a market, right? What you just said is a market.
Yep.
Let's make that parental control real tight. Coding, OOI, whatever we can get done to make it so that the parental controls is tighter. Even against them.
Yep.
If you can send a virus, you can stop them from computing.
Yep.
Ain't nobody scared of them.
Yep. So from the device to the content to the data on the back end, all of that has to be controlled because then you can curate the future.
Yeah.
Right. So they've shortened attention spans intentionally because the shorter the content, the more ads they can squeeze in between. So now people who never had an issue with attention span, I mean, I'm sure y'all remember when early on YouTube, a 5-minute video seemed short. You're like, why are you putting this in 5-10-minute clips? Now a 5-minute clip is like, get to the point. That's why they started putting the point at the front of the videos, because it's been manufactured to have shorter attention spans, right? And so imagine, I don't have to say imagine because we're all contributing to making this future, but, we're going to get to a destination where we're curating what's best for us mentally, spiritually, and culturally through these devices and through these platforms. The biggest things we have to do is support each other and collaborate. And one thing that I've seen from other cultures, and I'm not saying this like some people say it and they're kind of an outside spectator. I have Jews in my family. I have Asians in my family. I have almost every ethnicity in my family. My grandmother adopted 7 out of her 8 children. And so I grew up around this. And so I know how they do. And the biggest thing is they don't have to like each other to do business together. And we have that. And I don't think it's a flaw within our culture. I think it's actually just us wanting to be genuine and do genuine business with genuine people. But in a capitalistic society like America, you can't, like, if I'm trying to do something, I can't just be like, well, I'm going to hit up Mamba and do this because I know you do something. I got to figure out who's the right person and right fit. He may be busy. He might not, this might not be the project or the time for him or whatever it might be. It might not be the budget. So I got to be able to go outside of my network and find somebody that I may not know personally and be like, do you have the skill set? Are you a fit for the company or whatever I'm building? Do I have the budget and can we execute, right? And that's what other cultures do very well when they want to grow and they scale. They go, they don't go, where's my cousin? Where's my friend? Who I'm going to put the whole hood on. They go, who's the best person for the job so we can get somewhere. Now, once they get somewhere, then they go back and they say, well, now I've groomed my son or my daughter to take the lead position, right. Or this person called me for a favor. I'm going to get them an internship. But you can't do that in the beginning stages when you're trying to build something right. that's built to scale. Right. Because what happens is, outside of the good intentions behind it, if I'm starting a trucking company, business, but let's say you don't know trucking. I don't know if you do or not, but you don't know trucking, right? But I'm like, you're good at business. I got this much. You got this much. Let's get a truck. We'll figure it out together. Cool. But then when an outsider comes and we're trying to do business together and they're a professional and I'm like, well, you got to talk to my lead strategist, and my lead strategist don't know as much as the person we trying to do business with, it's not a good look. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? And so when it comes to this tech stuff, it's the exact same thing where it's like we have to build the future the way we want it to be, but we have to look at the long term and the curation of it. So we don't just want our kids on the iPad. We want them on the iPad learning content that right. we've created. Right. And on the back end, we want to imagine you can, without your kid even knowing, not necessarily secretively, but just it's already baked in, that you could throughout their life be like, yo, I saw the development. I saw how often they were on there, what they were doing, what they were learning, not from a spying point of view, but to be like, yo, I noticed she really gravitates to this. Let's create content like that. Okay, now I noticed around 14, it changed to this. Let's create content like that still has the educational piece, has the morals and values you're instilling, but you can curate it throughout their lifetime. That's what they do. The way we're utilizing,
they got a different response for reaching out. You're talking about reaching out to the ether, right? Mm-hmm. Because we don't have a structure in which you can grab something and make what you're saying possible, right? They can do it because they have a structure, right? They have a structure. We're going to buy from each other. We're going to invest in each other. We're going to talk to each other, right? That's their structure. We don't have that structure, so we first need a structure to get the support of a black tech, right? You know what I mean? Forgive me for saying it this way. The hood needs you as a tech man, right? So now everybody know, okay, that's a tech man. You know what I mean? We just know that, we messing with you.
Yeah.
Period, right? And that's what we do, right? We need to do that as a whole collective, but we still have your Facebook or whatever control all them hits and all those pictures, right? Controlling us and keeping us from just saying, should connect with my man.
So
I can't pay attention.
how do we focus more attention? Because bottom line is, as the industries go on, we're always on the user intellectual aspect. We're always on the user aspect instead of the back end. How can we, and how do you, as a matter of fact, coordinating with what you do, how do we push more interest into the back end aspect of it? Into the back end, meaning we're coding, we're creating something so that when it's on this end as a user, his daughter now has a dialogue and understanding aspect because we created this platform that's beneficial, and we know the security basis of it and everything like that because we're about this. This is what we protect. This is what we're about.
Yeah.
Or she created a different way of using the iPad, right? In her 4-year-old mind, she created a way where you're like, I can create that as a tech man, multiple screens, you know what I mean, where I could touch either one and pop it up. Whatever they doing in there, if you just pay attention, you'd be like, oh, they're using it in a way that I didn't know that they were using it in.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. One of the main things is we have to have checks and balances and agreements with each other, right? So some of the things you're talking about, like I said, I've been around in some of these other cultures, and they have checks and balances behind the scene. So a lot of outsiders look and they'll go, Asians, Jews, the whites, the Arabs, they put each other first, or they'll support each other's business and this and that. Going back to my last point, it's not because they all like each other and they're all best friends. It's checks and balances. They're opening a shop. It's their turn. We all gonna go support. You can come support begrudgingly, but you gonna come support. And then when it's your turn, that same person gonna support, and so on and so forth. And if you don't, then you can, whatever the penalties is within their communities, that's what you're gonna face. So you don't want to be the person that gets ready to launch your business and you ain't support the last five, and now they're like, we're not supporting you. The Arabs, the Arabs, the Muslims, I should put it, they don't believe in interest, right? So some of them have their own banks, right? And it's the same thing. The Jews, same thing. They have not only do they have some of their own banks, but they have they have a different application when they go to other banks to get money. So we need the checks and balances. A lot of times we want to almost help the community, but outgrow it. Like we want to outgrow it and then be like, all right, I'm coming back to help y'all, right? And it doesn't really work like that. Once you get in that space, you're in the middle because you're not them. You'll never be them, no matter how much money you got, right? And now you've kind of alienated yourself from us, and now you're in this space where you're not safe because you're not going to be protected because you don't have either community on your side. All you have is your money, right? And we are very spiritual people, right? Like we value money and get into the bag, but that's because we want our lives to be easier, and we have a lot of trauma from being poor.
Right.
So we go, well, this is one of the major solutions that we can have is getting to the bag. So one of the things we have to do, going back to your question, is we have to make technology cool. We have to lead by example. We have to show all aspects of what we're doing. So I have a partnership with the YMCA, and they bring their kids to our headquarters, and we show them technology and different things, and I give them speeches and encourage them and let them play with the different things we have to office. I just did another deal for another tour. It'll be some kids from North High, and the organization has partnered with them, and they're going to bring them through, I want to say May 3rd. And same thing, we're doing some augmented reality stuff that they'll be able to check out and play with our original superhero, Black Circuit. So we have to lead by example. We have to have the cultural element. We have to be within the
coding
community.
camps?
We do. We do.
Oh, nice.
Yep, we do 3D printing, drone racing camps, coding camps. Try to encompass it all. So that's one of the things. Another thing is we have to plan, 20 years ahead of time, right? So we're not going to get, I'm 36, so people my age and older, we not, unless that idea is sparked in them already and they're having fun with a Chat GPT or, some of these image generators or whatever it may be, like it's going to be hard to spark somebody to make that career pivot, right? But we matter, but it's not about us anymore. Like we can do what we got to do, but we got to make sure these kids, so in 20 years, they are inventing things, they are creating things, it's second nature, right? And so, to be able to do that, once again, I curate the type of content we put out. Our podcast, like I said, we have an original superhero, Black Circuit. He's in the metaverse. We're working on a web series right now, and we have an actual professional costume. I hired a professional costume designer, and we have a model that comes out as Black Circuit to our events, and the kids are just blown away because they haven't seen somebody that comes out and looks like a real superhero, doesn't look corny, right? And so those are some of the elements. Like we have to get our attention, our own attention. And once again, in the long run, we have to get back to, having that contract with each other where it's like, as long as you haven't done me wrong, there's no reason for me to look at you as competition or like I don't like you or like how you move. If I'm looking for a service and you have it, and it's just as good as anybody else, I should give you priority as a Black person.
But we got to stand up with a backbone, though, right? And things that we know shouldn't go on, we got to speak up, right? We got this code in our circle that says, it ain't my business, right? But
that comes from fear, though.
Us got to be our business. We got to be our business again. We got to be like, you my business. You know what I mean? Because the more of us that move as one, the powerful we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And that comes from fear. That comes from a lack of, to be like, it's not my business in both senses of it. Not my business as it's not my concern. Not my business as in I don't own it. But do you want this business to exist for you, for your kids, for your nieces and nephews, creating jobs, creating opportunity, and to be an example of what can be done and what needs to be done. And so, like I said, I business coach for NASA, right? So when I tell people that, they're blown away. And a lot of people, they're like, I don't know, I've only heard of Hidden Figures, right? They haven't seen a lot of Black people work with NASA, and I'm working with them as a boss. I'm a contractor, I'm providing a service to NASA. I have a few other huge organizations that I consult for. Right, but I took all of that and created a consulting firm, Rocket Growth Academy, where I can give the same level of advice I give to these big businesses to the community at a more affordable price. Yeah. And then I go get partnerships so I can even offer tuition from time to time when I have the right partners, right? So there's that part of success where it's like I can name drop some of these big companies I've worked with, right? But I'm still bringing it back to the community where it's like it's here if you need it and if you want it, but you got to nurture it, right? And that's a hard balance because it's almost practicing both community and individualism at the same time. Right. And I feel like that's the struggle we're in right now, where it's like you got to make sure you're good. You have to, right? And to make sure you're good, you got to do business with other people. Like I said, you got to hire whoever is best for the job, so on and so forth, to grow your company. But at the same time, like I said earlier, you get in that middle space and you're all alone. So you always want to expand and grow where you can and create a means for the community to grow with you and get to that point. So that's why I said I want to take small businesses. I want to take entrepreneurs who are like, I just don't want to have the day job no more. I got a business. It's doing okay. It's not enough to leave my day job. I'm making $50,000 a year. I want to make $100K, and then I can leave my job. Cool, we'll get you that. I'm already getting to the bag. I'm making $500,000 a year. How was $2 or $3 million a year sound? Because you don't have processes. You're getting up and you're working around the clock to make that money. And if you get sick, you don't make money that day. A business should make money whether you are personally operating or not, and it should be prepared to sell whether you want to sell it or not. It should be so nice and concise that if somebody wants to come and buy it, they can. And if that's not the plan and you want to leave it to someone, saying it's the exact same process. You have to have processes in place where if you're leaving it to someone, you're not just saying, I'm giving this to you, I hope you have a vision for it. You go, these are our practices. So even if they're going to innovate, they're innovating from a place of going, no, this really actually does work. We'll leave that alone. Yep. This didn't really work that well. We're going to innovate this. And then they come in and take it to another level. And so it's the same thing across entrepreneurship, across technology. Like, we are involved in this stuff, and we've been involved in this stuff, but we got to highlight each other. We got to work together, and we have to plan not just for us, but for the kids, for the grandkids, for the great grandkids. Right. And that's how we'll get to a place of dominance, at least for the products that we want for ourselves. And I'm sure you've seen like are you familiar with Calendly?
Yep.
Calendly, yeah.
Yeah, that's black owned.
Black owned. Yep.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yep.
So it's like he
Yeah, brother did
didn't
that.
put that up front because he knew if he did, people may not use it, right? And now he's
Which is a problem in tech, just in
yeah.
general.
And now he's killing it. Now he can step out in front a little bit and do interviews and be like, "Yep, it's me. It's black owned." Da 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 da. But that's a consideration as well. But so the good in that, going back to the individualism in the community, in the individual sense, he had to get to where he had to get to, right? But on the community sense, now you got to stand out front and show us that it's possible,
Right.
and give back and start
And
grooming.
a pathway to get there, just
Yeah.
like you.
Yep.
So in how do we get bottom line? We got a thing coming up, Octo Games, right? It would be lovely if you could be a part of that, because it's not just about them playing the games. The ages are 13 to 20.
Okay.
It's not about them just playing the games, but it's offering opportunity for young people to be around, because there will be resources and black businesses around, right? Just let's say a little kiosk or something like that, where they can come around where there is a possibility for information, resource, or a job opportunity.
Yeah.
So how would do you think you would be a part of that and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, let me know more about it. Send me some dates, times, and like how you feel like you would want me involved. But like I said, I'm here to work with people, to collaborate, to expand. Getting people into the tech field, helping the youth, sparking their interest.
Yeah.
So if I'm available and everything makes sense, I'm definitely down.
Are you available? June 18th
Right.
and 19th.
I'll look at my
you come on, you
calendar.
doing-
You gotta go to his calendar.
You got to check it out.
Okay,
Well,
but
yeah, I just feel like if we're going back into what I just said as far as industry wise and whatnot. Yeah, we got a lot of young people, even my son, your daughter, that are doing these things. That how the fuck did you find that out in this? Like how did you go to the settings and figure this out and with no instruction, right? Like they're on this I want to say creative side, right? They're on this creative side of something that's already present, because the information and or platform is already given. But how do we backtrack it? Whether it's video games or anything, right? Everybody know everything as far as video games and how to move and so on and so forth, and they know all these settings. But how do we take it a step back further to be like, you know what? What is more beneficial than playing the video game or playing the software and or app that you're doing right now is developing it. How do we transition our thought process just in general with our youth? And I'm saying as an adult, I'm saying as a parent, right? How can I transition my kid to get him more interested in, if you think your imagination is something right now when it comes to, what is it, Roblox, or not a Roblox, what's that other one? That's got Minecraft, right? You think you create now. Let's take it a step further, right, to where you are the actual god of this particular video game, to where everything that you thought could possibly happen happens because you designed it. How do we get our kids to think in that process? Like, I get your imagination, and that's great because it's valid, right? But how do we push them that back into someone else giving them their imagination on what they thought of, to say, no, let's go back to your inventive stage. They don't even know that so many black people invented so much technology throughout history. How do we do that?
I mean, we do it the same way we get kids into sports.
Care?
These kids,
Make it
care, invest. Kids don't always want to go to practice. They may love basketball, football, soccer, whatever, baseball, whatever it is. They don't always want to go to practice, and they're not always happy when they lose a game or they didn't get to play as much as they wanted to, right? But the parents still make them go, right? Because they financially invested in it. They put their time into being there at practices, pick up, drop off, games, things of that nature, inviting the family out to come cheer and support. And so it's the exact same concept. If the kid loves video games already, you're already a step there. Now you as the parent got to go and say, what are the resources? What are the classes? What are the YouTube channels? What are the TikTok channels? and you start getting it in, and you know, you groom them into it, right? You don't want to be force them into it where they grow up and they're like, I know how to do this, but I still hate it because I never liked it, right? But you want to show them also the benefits of being like, hey, there is a lot of money in this. Also, hey, it gives you the power to create the things that come to mind, right? And you mix play with learning. Okay, you can play, if you're going to play this video game, you're going to learn about esports and playing competitively,
Sure.
right? Things of that nature.
So
Intention.
availability,
Tension, yeah.
availability and accessibility seems to be what's coming through my mind, and that is there is not many after school programs or even programs that will extend that extra bit of knowledge to that kid. I know for a fact that they're not learning it in the school structure. I know that they're still learning about George Washington, but so there has to be someone who's going to teach them about this technology, and that someone should be us teaching our own kids what they are looking at for the future. And it seems to me that this seems to be a way to funnel or tunnel a line of income and or jobs for people to, just, tech people who just know something but don't really have a job or don't what to do with that knowledge, get some computers together and get some kids to come start learning it, 3 to 4 every Tuesday,
Yeah.
just use your time, stop trying to get paid for everything and use your time, and then it might turn into something, especially if it's your passion.
Yeah. So there are programs like that, and there are programs led by us like that. There's not enough, right? But there are. But it's the intention. It's the buy-in, right? Like we do workshops on all sorts of stuff, right? And depending on what it is and what time of year it is, we get good attendance, but sometimes we get less attendance. We should have a wait list every time we announce we're doing something, right? But then parents are looking at the cost. Sometimes we do stuff for free or get a sponsor to cover the tuition, but they're looking at the cost. They're looking at the time commitment of pick up and drop off. And so the intentionality in a lot of cases just isn't there. And that's what I mean. If there's not enough of us doing it, meaning not enough to cover all regions, right? But there's enough of us doing it to where we should have wait lists to be like, 100 people tried to get in. Our cohort's only 30. We got to add more cohorts, right? So part of it is the funding. So if you look at everything that's going on now with DEI funding on the federal level, it's trickled down because now what's happening is, for instance, City of St. Paul, they're suing because they can't get their federal funding unless they denounce certain things, transit sports, DEI, or trans men and women's sports, DEI, these certain things. And so they're having to sue to get their money.
Everybody pays for it.
So that then affects how much programming we can do, right? Because we're not federally funded, we're a for-profit, but we partner with the city, we partner with different corporations. Some of those corporations fund us through their foundations.
What if you partner with MIB and OOI?
Then we
What
knock
if we
it
did
out.
it ourselves?
What if we just did it ourselves?
Yeah, that's what we always do, right?
Because then we got
get
more than one.
But we
right?
got to get the parents buy-in. Parents got to.
Parents are going to buy in.
We could say it's
we
free,
say we self-sufficient.
but they got to pull up. They still got to do pick up and drop off.
So then we as a collective figure that part out. Because maybe then we purchase a couple vans or maybe a couple buses or whatever the fact. And if we got 30 kids or whatever the case may be, we're already invented. So it ain't just he and I in terms of the network. We got a network.
Yep.
So let's work with the network to solve a problem instead of saying, woe is me, DEI,
right.
don't
Somebody
give us this.
somebody
Fuck
else.
them.
Somebody else. Yeah.
Let's move how we need to move. If
Yeah.
it's he and
Yeah.
I taking the step and driving each kid and getting parental waivers, whatever the fuck
I
may be.
already got it. We ain't even need to say no more.
Okay.
Can you close out the show? I got the plug. Yeah.
All right, so, but that's what we on.
Yeah.
Right. I don't give a fuck about the DEI shit and shit like that. We here to say how can we solve problems together, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
What's
of
your
course.
you got anything closing you want to share out, especially your business and or
Yeah.
nonprofit if you got one?
Yeah, so like I said, Mike Jackson, founder and CEO of Black Tech Talent. We've been doing this for 5 years now. I had a startup previously called the Premium Experience. We helped venues and promoters better understand their audience through data and then to retarget that audience. So that was my first step into the startup entrepreneurship versus small business entrepreneurship. Now to date, I have about 13 different awards.
Respect.
Thank you. 40 Under 40 being one of the ones I'm most proud of from Business Journal. Community Impact Awards. I won my division for Minnesota Cup, which is the largest statewide entrepreneurship competition in the country. $500,000 across 10 divisions.
Damn.
Yeah, it's serious.
You ain't telling me to bring this motherfucker on. Like, okay.
Then, like I said,
Go ahead, keep going. I'm sorry.
Then, like I said, I do business coaching for NASA through the federal labs. And then I have Rocket Growth Academy as well. So you can follow both of those businesses, Rocket Growth and Black Tech Talent, and that's the name on all the platforms. And then I'm working on a $26 million real estate project over in South Minneapolis on Lake in Chicago.
Okay.
It's one of the locations where one of the buildings burned down during the George Floyd protests.
We know it's that.
And
we
so,
over there.
well, for the viewers, for the listeners. But I'm working with an organization that acquired that space, and they want to build an innovation center where we'll have beauty, health, and wellness on one floor, and then we'll have an event center on the first floor, and then we're going to have a technology accelerator on the third floor, which I'm helping them develop and run. So involved in a lot of things when it comes to entrepreneurship, technology, just being innovative, entertainment. And like I said, I'm all about collaboration, meeting other good people, doing things, and seeing how we can work together. And it don't got to be right at the moment. You know, that's what having a network is. It isn't we meet, we got to do something right that second, but it's keeping each other in mind and keeping in contact when opportunities arise. So for you gentlemen and just for anybody listening, like I said, just reach out on social media. If it makes sense, it makes sense, and we'll do something.
Wait a minute, you said for us, we got to reach out to you on social media. We had you all. We family now, man. We need a phone number, man. What's happening, man?
Hey,
what's going down?
Calendly. Hit me on my Calendly.
Here we go.
You know what I'm saying? We got to have processes in place so we can be scalable. But no, obviously you guys can hit me. But yeah, but for anybody who's not in the room that don't got my number or my Calendly link,
Tell them how to reach you.
hit me on social media. So Black Tech Talent or Rocket Growth.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. And guaranteed, when we build these relationships on this platform, I promise you, just keep watching. Just keep watching. That's all I got to say. Just keep watching. But thank y'all for.
Wait, I got a black business.
This nigga always cuts me off. It's never ending.
I would like.
Then he bitches when I cut him off. Y'all notice that?
Shout out to Urban Scouts of America. We gonna be talking about. My man gave me an idea, and we gonna be talking. Yep.
Here we go.
All right. So as I said, respect y'all. Appreciate y'all for. Shut the fuck up. Thank y'all for liking, commenting, and always subscribe. Keep passing the message. Keep passing the buck. We here. We out here. We out.